Well, Jim, let's go to Tony Khan audio, and we'll wrap things up with some audio from Tony here. Nick Hausman asked him about the recent stories of AEW's legal team warning WWE about contract tampering. Let's go to this.
Here you go, Nick.
Thank you. I wanted to ask about a kind of a follow-up about your comments about alluding to contract tampering. You were also asked about a potential WWE AEW Super Show, and you said not after the way they treated me. What happened when you say something like that? How were you treated? What was the exchange there with WWE?
I've had a number of interactions with them, and I'm not, I was super. I've said a lot of nice stuff, and I don't regret saying nice stuff because I'm super honest about pro wrestling, and when I saw good stuff happening there, I'll be the first to say it. But yeah, I just am not feeling the same love.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't want to get into it, but I just haven't felt the same reciprocation that I have for them.
Well, let's stop there, Tony. About, yeah, I mean, again, he's put out the idea in the past that he would not be against the idea of a super show. It's one of those fan ideas that you always hear about. And that's kind of what was addressed here.
If he has ever, at any point in his life, from yesterday through his birth, ever, for 1 second, seriously thought that the WWE would have any kind of joint event with him, he's out of his mind. And it shows that these people don't understand the business that they've gotten themselves into. That was never a thing that was going to happen under Vince. That's never a thing that's going to happen under Triple H. It's not going to take place. And the idea that he thinks because he called them up and complimented them or said nice things in some forum that they were going to do the same thing to him is ridiculous. This is business, and the WWE has spent the past 40 years putting all their competitors out of business. And they are going to do nothing on purpose to help him. They did let quite a few pieces of talent go that would have helped him when he picked him up if he had used them properly. But they're not going to do anything on purpose to help him or in any way make anything any easier for him. They're going to do the exact opposite. They're going to counter-program him. They're going to book against him. They're going to go back channel to get talent. They're going to do the same thing they've been doing for the past 40 fucking years. And if this is a surprise to him and he thought in some fashion because they said nice things about each other that the door was open to work together now or in the future, that's insane. The WWE is like every other big business in America or in the world. They will stab you in the back and then call the cops and have you arrested for carrying a concealed weapon.
Let's get another question for Tony. His next question was asked.
My big question is, does my fart that I accidentally let earlier, did that stay in the show or is that being cut out?
It's up to you.
I'd like to leave it.
Well, I did not expect that, but all right, we'll leave it since it didn't smell too bad. But Jim, this next question, I don't know why you went back to that now. This next question here to Tony Khan was from someone named Izzy from Hot Tag with Izzy. She asked about, with everything going on in AEW, the overall success of All Out as a business venture, the actual money it generated, will that help everything happening in the back? Let's go to Tony's answer.
Well, I think there's still like a lot of wrestlers in professional wrestling who don't get along, and now it's more apparent than ever that there are those things. But I also think that the industry has thrived on creative tension for a long time, and then you might say, well, what if it doesn't manifest itself in a match right away? And I also think that, as I mentioned other times this weekend, when in the 90s, which is arguably the all-time business peak and interest peak, and really I think just the general peak of pro wrestling in many ways, the late 90s and early 2000s, there was certainly a big group of pro wrestlers who did not like each other. There were a lot of people who didn't get along, and a lot of times they weren't even in the same companies, and they would rip each other. And it was certainly not going to produce a match. But that is what we produce, is wrestling matches, and there are a lot of matches between people who probably don't get along and don't like each other, and it's not always an easy road to get people in the ring. But when you can get people in the ring to settle their differences in the ring, it can be really exciting. There's a lot of conversation about people not getting along, not liking each other. I definitely think that it's probably more apparent than ever that there's a lot of that. I don't like everything either. I don't like everything people say, and there's people that have said things pretty blatantly, even people that work here that have just gone out and slammed me blatantly in public, and there's only so much of it I'll take. I'm a pretty nice guy and I'm very flexible. It's nice being home. As a segue, being here, seeing a lot of my friends, I have a pretty calm demeanor generally with people, and I'm willing to put up with a lot of abuse. Something that came up while I was doing an interview this week was one of the guys that interviewed me while I was in town. He went to the University of Illinois, and we kind of put together that I had bartended for him many, many times and served him many drinks over the years when I was a bartender in college. I have a demeanor of service. I try to service people, and that includes the wrestling fans. I will go around and ask if I can help somebody.
There's a number of people being serviced right now.
Offer somebody a hand or pour somebody a drink or whatever I need to do to make somebody feel better. But there's only so much slamming me and knocking me I can put up with. But on the other hand, I will do what's right for business when I have to. And so I think, to be honest, when people don't get along, people don't like each other, I think I've been probably had people saying about as much stuff about me over the last few months as anybody, and sometimes you just have to take it and move on with business, and that's a part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there's a lot there. What did you think of Tony's comments?
Tony's an odd fellow, isn't he? Tony, I don't think, gets a good grasp on what's going on around him. He thinks because he's nice to everybody that everybody's just going to be nice and trustworthy to him. Has he not figured out yet? Is it because he's in the billionaire's bubble that most people will fuck you around in a heartbeat if they can get what they want, and will turn on you and fucking slander you? And that's why that if he's going to run a business, it needs to be business, or if he's going to hang out with friends, they need to be friends, but you can't have both. Does that make any sense?
It does make sense. It's probably, not probably, it is hard when you've established yourself in one way or another as a friend, and now you have to put your foot down finally, because you didn't at the beginning. But there's a lot of things going on there. And, again, Tony's busy also with a football team and everything else. And whatever happened with Thunder Rosa, whatever happened with Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara, everything now with the AEW civil war between factions, this is all happening under these conditions. But Jim, let's go to this next question. Speaking of these conditions, here's a question from Brandon Thurston about how the business of this pay-per-view is doing. And this is going to go into that quote I mentioned earlier.
Oh, the Crockett quote.
Yeah, so let's listen to this. We'll get your thoughts. If there's any point you want me to stop because you have something to say, just stop me.
Hey, man. Yes, I'm well aware, sir. Sorry, but for the, yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Can you tell us how this pay-per-view is selling? Usually you get digital right away.
Yeah, digital. So I am going to say I don't have an exact number for you. I think it's probably, there's a chance it's going to be the second highest all-out ever. It may not be the highest all-out. It might be the first time we haven't hit that high. I knew last year the all-time high would be challenging. There's a big difference between this year and last year. We were the first professional wrestling show and the only professional wrestling show on Labor Day weekend last year, and we were the third professional wrestling show of the weekend this year. I don't think that's a coincidence. And when I talk about things I wasn't thrilled about, I was a little surprised we were the third professional wrestling show this weekend, and it's probably a little bit more challenging in the marketplace when it becomes a little more crowded. So our performance, given the prior years, we never had this kind of competition, and it's kind of a first for us in AEW to see this kind of crowded marketplace. I'm not sure if this is what we'll see from now on. If it is, when the fight is brought, I will continue bringing fights of my own, and I have unique ways to do that and a lot of money to fight with. And this is not a game to me. This is my life, and I don't think it's a joke, and I take it really seriously. And yeah, so I am very happy with the numbers we did. Given the competition we had, I was hoping that it would be the all-time high for All Out, but I'm not sure it's going to quite hit that. So it's the first time an AEW pay-per-view in history did not top the number before, probably. But that being said, it's still going to be, again, the second highest number we've ever done for All Out. And this year will end up being the biggest year on pay-per-view in AEW's history by far for pay-per-view revenue. It won't even be close. So even with Full Gear to come, I'm quite confident this will be our all-time high for pay-per-view revenue.
Put it in a rank with other pay-per-views this year?
It's pretty similar to the other pay-per-views this year. I think it would be Forbidden Door was an unprecedented success and the biggest debut in AEW pay-per-view history. A lot of the buys were international, and the price point is obviously a little bit lower in international. I think this would be more total buys and.
I'm going to sleep. When does he say the stupid thing?
I believe it's coming up in a few seconds.
Okay, the stupid thing then. Stay tuned, folks, for the stupid thing.
Yeah, stay awake. Come on, we don't have a sleep sponsor this week.
It would be significantly higher than Forbidden Door. I'd expect it to be similar to Double or Nothing. But All Out last year was higher than Double or Nothing was last year.
He does go on.
It was a high all-time for Double or Nothing, obviously. I don't know if we'll quite hit that, but I do think it's going to be in that range. So very good, given the competition that we've never faced before. This is kind of an unprecedented marker, in my opinion, but it's still the number is the number, and I have to face the competition out there. But when I compare myself to Jim Crockett Promotions this weekend, I think I got a taste of the same medicine Jim Crockett Promotions took. But I have a lot more fucking money than Jim Crockett did, and I'm serious, I'm not gonna sit back and take this fucking shit.
Ooh.
And if you see him visually, it's the angriest we've ever seen Tony Khan, I believe, on camera here. Not that you immediately dismiss what he said, but I mean, what he's saying, you understand why he feels the way he does.
Well, yes, but also I'm very scared that that's the angriest we've ever seen him. Of course, he's got more money than Jim Crockett Promotions had, because Jim Crockett Promotions had been in the wrestling business for 40 years, not in the rich father business for 40 years. But at some point, number one, why is he surprised? They counter-programmed the Bunkhouse Stampede with the Royal Rumble. And then Crockett counter-programmed WrestleMania with the Clash of Champions. And blah, blah, blah. It's been going on. That's what you do in a wrestling war. You run the other guy's towns, you try to get in the other guy's buildings, try to steal the other guy's talent, try to take the other guy's television. Whatever the case, it shouldn't be a surprise, but what he's doing now is telling them, well, I got a bunch more money than Jimmy Crockett. So the first thing that they're going to do, if they're smart in Stamford, is say, well, let's see if we can make him spend as much of it as possible. And then, because they know that he's willing to throw money after the situation, to not be one-upped or to not be punked out or put upon or whatever, so they're going to say, let's see how much money we can make him spend. And then they're going to start booking shit that they don't even intend to do, maybe. They're just going to see if he'll respond by spending some money to fucking counter-program him or counter-book him or whatever. Then they pull out, he's committed. He don't even know what they're doing to him until they've done it. Because he's saying, I'm willing to spend all the money in the world. At some point, nobody is willing to spend all the money in the world, even if they have it. And we saw that with Dixie Carter when Bob and Mama Carter had to get involved because she'd overstepped her allowance. I'm not saying it's going to be the same thing here because these people got a lot more money than the Carters. But at some point, you don't tell the opposition, I got 1,000,000 bullets here in this fort, and if you come up the hill, I'll fire every single one of them at you. Because then there's going to be people coming up the hill every day until you don't have any more bullets left.
Well, again, to be fair, he's going through a lot right now.
I wonder if the football players are this cantankerous with each other as the wrestlers are. They all know how to play football, and they're probably all kind of in the same mindset of maybe we ought not have flaming tables on the sidelines and put barbed wire around the fucking goalposts.
But again, with everything happening behind the scenes, things out of his control at the moment, everything happening with the business of AEW, the concerns going on, and now Triple H is there. There's buzz with WWE, whether it's warranted or not. You can understand why, for the first time, he really let off steam like this about the issue. Whether it's wise or not, you can understand why.
No, I see what he's doing. He's cracking. Because that being in that position, you will crack eventually and want to choke somebody or say fuck it or throw something off a bridge or whatever the case. Everybody handles it differently, but he's starting to crack because his boys are starting to crack. Because there's no cohesive teamwork nor leadership.
You said what WWE would do more than likely is try to drain him of some of that money. If you were Tony Khan, what would you do? If you're saying, hey, I don't like the way you guys are trying to fuck around with my business, I'm going to fuck around with you right back. What could you do?
Well, in this case, he could have had the more attractive show to a larger number of people. But that's not possible because he doesn't have the largest number of people watching his television to draw from. So, again, don't rely on just the fans that you have already because they came with you at the start. They're just blind to the drawbacks of Twinkle Toes and etc. But they're not going to forsake you if you get some other talent on the show that regular folks might like. They're not going to go away because they're there. They're invested. They love the company more than anything. There just ain't enough of them. There's 750,000 or whatever of them. The 200 and something thousand people that turn the TV off when they see Harpo is maybe who you need to appeal to a little more, and some more of them that you might be able to get afterwards if you keep getting stars of the name recognition value of CM Punk or young talent like MJF or Hobbs or FTR that the real wrestling fans want to see, not the goddamn gymnastics exhibitions. He's always talking about having a bunch of a buffet of every wrestling style. No, you don't. You've got constant over and over self-gratifying indie outlaw style bullshit, and you have only a segment or two on each television show that is devoted to the experienced veterans that know how to do this shit right. So put on a better show that's not going to cost you any more money. You're already promoting it, you're already airing it, you're already paying the crew to shoot it, whatever, just make it better. And get your employees in control. And start making them do what you tell them to do because you are the boss and you are paying them. And if they don't like it, then be the first one to offer to help them carry their bags to the fucking car. I mean, you don't need to spend a lot of money to do that. And I don't see how he's going to be. How can he spend money and fight that anyway? The WWE can book any shows they want, anywhere they want, anytime they want. They can run them all day long. He can spend money. He's not going to be able to stop that. What's he going to do? Hire a goddamn crew of fucking, the circus rowdies to go and tear the fucking tent down? Can't do that in this day and age. So he's just expressing that he's willing to spend a lot of money in some unknown way to stop the WWE from doing what they're going to be doing to him more often in the future, which is running opposition, trying to get some of the talent, trying to prevent more talent from going there, trying to prevent Tony from getting any foothold he can in any new project, in any means that they can figure out how to do it. That's just what's going to happen.
Well, we shall see. But Jim, let me ask you a question. Have you ever stopped to wonder why internet access is so much cheaper these days? Like $30 to $40 a month? It's because internet service providers aren't just making money off subscription fees. They're also making money from spying on your internet activity and selling your history and data and the data to big tech companies. So, what's the best way to make sure that 100% of your data is encrypted and that your ISP can't get a hold of it? I'm asking you.
Well, I'm going to tell you. And I've never wondered why internet access was cheaper these days because these Spectrum assholes are charging me double for half the internet that I'm supposed to get. But I have heard and do indeed concur and agree with that these internet service providers, the ISPs for short, are making more money off of you than they're entitled to. They're spying on your internet activity. As you mentioned, they're selling your data and your history. And, there's a lot of people, apparently we come to find out, there's a lot of people doing things on their internet connection that they don't want people to know about. Now, That's where the fine folks at ExpressVPN come in. Now, we've been talking about ExpressVPN, Brian, and you've straightened me out. You've clarified a few things. I want to make mention of some things that ExpressVPN will not do. I'm now told that they do not provide you with a fake identity and documentation and paperwork to support same. That's not one of the services that they provide. They will not give you driver's licenses, birth certificates, passports, or other things in fictitious people's names. Am I correct in this?
Yes, you are actually correct. That is completely ridiculous. So, of course,
they will not do this.
VPN does not do those things. No.
Of course they wouldn't. And they do not provide. I'm told this under very certain circumstances that they do not provide a cleaning crew to come to your home to clean up any incidents, to remove any evidence of wrongdoing, such as, I don't know, files, documents, top secret classified dossiers, human corpses, things that are buried in your crawl space. They do not send a cleaning crew out to take care of that. You got to do all that stuff on your own. ExpressVPN will not get involved in that. Is that what I'm told?
Once again, of course they would not do that. You'd have to be a complete moron to believe something like that, because ExpressVPN does wonderful things for you that don't include any of these silly, funny things that have come from the mind of Mr. Jim Cornette, the star.
Well, no, they didn't come from my mind. I was told these things, and now I'm trying to separate the wheat from the chaff. I'm trying to get to the truth from the fiction.
Who told you these things?
Well, I'll be unreliable people that were wandering down the street when I happen to be sitting there under the tree saying, wow, I wonder what this ExpressVPN is all about. Here's something else I hear they do not do. They, under no circumstances, will provide you with the name and location of a plastic surgeon that will change your appearance in any way, shape, or form. They will not have anyone that can perform surgery on you at a undisclosed location, possibly with or without the benefit of anesthesia, to change your appearance in case your picture is, well, spread all over the place. They won't do that.
No, of course not. I don't know why we're still going over this. Of course they won't do that. ExpressVPN will create a secure tunnel between all your devices.
Now, there's a secure tunnel between your devices. How secure is it? Could somebody break into that tunnel and go from one device to the other? It's a secure tunnel. They can't.
It's a secure.
They can't break into it. They create a secure tunnel between your devices and the internet, so everything you do online is encrypted. I understand. Also, they do reroute your connection through a secure server, which blocks your ISP from seeing the ISP. From seeing everything that you do online. And some people are doing some things online that, frankly, if your parents only knew.
Stop. That's not in the copy. Let's try to.
All that they can see, all these people out there trying to spy on you folks, they're looking in your windows, they're in your walls, they're everywhere, and they're looking at everything that you see and do. They're listening to what you say.
Come on.
But if you're connected to ExpressVPN, then all they can see is you're connected to an ExpressVPN server. Nothing beyond that. They can't read your documents. They can't listen to your communications. They cannot peek in the window at you and look at you in your underwear. And that's all things that these crooked ISPs have been noted for doing. I saw that article about the peeping on the underwear in the newspaper last week. Folks, it's not just for a phone or a computer. ExpressVPN works on all your devices, on your tablets, on your smart TVs, your router. Your entire family will stay protected. I mean, this thing will work on your toasters, your microwaves, and they won't be able to tell what kind of food that you're microwaving or eating. I can't stress this enough that ExpressVPN is so simple to use. You just open up the app, whatever that is, wherever it may be. You tap one button, and once you've tapped, you're connected. Protect your data. It's your business and your business only. And nobody else is going to tell you what to do with your business or your data. Or elsewise, you can tell them to go take a flying leap at a rolling donut. Right now, go to expressvpn.com/JCE, and you're going to get 3 extra months of Rolling Donuts for free, along with 3 extra months of ExpressVPN protection for free. That's Express, expressvpn.com/JCE. Go there, learn more, get 3 months of protection for free. Once they get finished with you, ExpressVPN, nobody on the planet's going to know where you are, what your name is, or what you look like. You'll never be able to find your way back where they're going to put you.
Stop! You make it worse at the very end. You will know where you are and how to find your way back. And of course, everyone who you want to find you will be able to find you. And ExpressVPN will be right there with you along the way. Your safe journey to and from wherever it is that you are going here with expressvpn.com/JCE.
Sometimes you don't want to come back.